So to put some context around this, Marie, back in June, you may remember, the president sent the National Guard to L.A. There were those immigration protests, that unrest out there, so that was that. Today, we learned he's sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C. to handle what he says is crime problems, even though they're seeing a double-digit drop in their crime statistics. And now there's Chicago on the horizon, and here's what he had to say about us.
We're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster.
A warning shot there to Chicago as protests in Washington unfolded today over the president's decision to deploy federal forces in the nation's capital. But Trump had more to say on our local leadership.
We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. We have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent.
Governor Pritzker pushing back, saying Trump doesn't have the authority, but that may not stop him.
He has absolutely no right and no legal ability to send troops in to the city of Chicago. The Nazis in Germany in the 30s tore down a constitutional republic in just 53 days. It does not take much, frankly, and we have a president who seems hell-bent on doing just that.
Mayor Johnson saying if President Trump wants to help make Chicago safer, he can start by releasing the funds for anti-violence programs that have been critical to our work to drive down crime and violence. Sending in the National Guard, he said, would only serve to destabilize our city and undermine our public safety efforts. Trump framing the rollout in D.C. this way.
And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. In addition, deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
Police data shows violent crime is down 26% in the district over the last year. Homicides down 12%.
And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised.
The president also targeting the homeless in Washington, D.C.
We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live.
Now, unlike a state's governor, the District of Columbia, notably not a state, does not have control over its National Guard, giving the president broad leeway there. So that's different than the other 50 states, including Illinois. That's what Governor Pritzker was kind of referencing. He did talk about L.A., which is the subject, by the way, of litigation underway out west to determine whether or not the National Guard coming into Los Angeles was legal. That's kind of working through. And finally, for the context, why are we doing all of this now? A staffer at the White House in the Office of Government Efficiency was injured in an attempted carjacking last week, and many believe that is what set the president off on this let's get D.C. safer move.
Interesting. Much more about this conversation in our next half hour with our legal expert, but Chris, thank you for getting us up to speed.